Continuing from the previous episode 1855. Break me. Seeming to penetrate the endless void, Xiao Yan's voice sounded like a thunder, blasting in Macal's ears. Boom! As soon as Xiao Yan's voice fell, his whole body swelled violently, and the dark green blood mist was completely vented, and the light spots and white flames on his body quickly swallowed the breath released by Xiao Yan, but it was too difficult to support alone. Become thinner. At this moment, the originally magnificent and quiet temple was stained by countless dark green blood mist and blood, like a scene of hell, gloomy and cold, an evil atmosphere, completely rendering it. The blood mist that obscured the sun erupted endlessly from Xiao Yan's body. The sacred light spots that slanted down from the Tianhe, like the remnants of defeated soldiers, quickly disintegrated and melted, and fell off from the wings of the angel Merkel. When the white flames that came down touched the blood mist of the demons, there were bursts of terrifying explosions, and after the explosions, they slowly scattered like dust. In the dimensional temple, the endless vortex of blood mist abyss continues to permeate, like a bottomless pit. Every time the blood mist appears, this magnificent temple will become shaken. The blood mist of the devil is crisscrossed, the sacred light spot retreats, the white flame explodes, the so-called angels ruling. This moment is like a big joke. Ah! 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 After a while, Macal roared angrily in the enchantment of light, and his high-pitched voice penetrated the entire sky, shaking the hearts of countless humans below. Macal! Just as Macal roared angrily, Xiao Yan's figure suddenly returned to the original void from the dimensional temple. The demon blood mist was spreading around him, and his voice was extremely gloomy. You are a heretic. You are the devil. I, the roving angel Macal, will never let you survive. At this moment, Macal was in a turmoil, his chest slowly heaving, his tone became excited, the angel's wings behind his back were violently instigated, and a more powerful breath revealed. Just now, that's the real devil. Xiao Yan laughed when he saw Macal like this. She thought that with the divine power of the light attribute, she could judge herself. She thought that if she was exiled to a different dimension and locked in the temple of grand judgment, countless rays of light and sacred flames would devour herself. She was wrong. Just at the critical moment, Xiao Yan was not suppressing the demonic power in his body. The unrepressed demonic power was like an entrance to hell, an endless evil blood mist burst out, destroying the temple of judgment horribly. Angel? Holy power? In the power of his own most evil and evil demons, he is like a powerless 3-year-old child. Ha ha ha, devil. You forced me, and you brought it on yourself. Seeing the sarcastic expression of the demon Xiao Yan, Macal suddenly went mad. As a roving angel, Macal's strength is not among the pinnacles of the great thousand world, but with this status, who would dare to be so disrespectful to herself? Now that Xiao Yan repeatedly trampled on his dignity several times, Macal was finally angry. Macal's face was hideous, and his pupils were filled with madness, as if this world had been abandoned, and he was the executioner who came to destroy this time. Macal's slender black hair turned white for a while, the kind of pure white, and the pupils turned white at the same time, and the enchantment of light above the sky seemed to be summoned, and countless light patterns slowly wriggled, right. Macal moved closer. Are you using the power beyond the limit? At this moment, Xiao Yan's pupils suddenly became deep, although he knew that Macal would obliterate all the human beings here, but Xiao Yan did not expect that Macal was actually brewing a forbidden technique. Forbidden. The two weak and insignificant words represent the power of the peak in the world. Although ordinary immortal arts and forbidden arts are also in the category of comrades, Xiao Yan knew that the power of forbidden arts was probably incomparable to several immortal arts. You brought it on yourself. Anyway, I don't like this land too much, let's destroy it together. Macal's pupils flashed a frantic smile, and the movements in his hands did not stop. Brewing forbidden techniques, and casting forbidden techniques requires even greater power. A trace of bright red blood permeated from the fingertips, and then an extremely tyrannical barrier of light erupted from the angel's wings behind it, protecting it to the death. Ancient texture. That's the smell of forbidden art. This lunatic. Xiao Yan looked at Macal like this. His pupils couldn't help turning pale. Xiao Yan had seen the power of the forbidden technique as early as in Li Sol territory. Even in the uppermost realm of Li Sol territory, once the forbidden technique came, no grass would grow in a radius of thousands of miles, and the land after the forbidden technique was used. It will also stink, and it will leave a special area that is not suitable for human habitation. The most important thing is that there are hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians under the rock and soil wall below. If the forbidden technique is really allowed to come, I am afraid the consequences will be unimaginable. The riddled void was made weird by Macal's sudden arrival, as if this warm continent was being dragged by Macal bit by bit towards the palace of death. Dark and cold, without any anger. On the other hand, Xiao Yan, the devil's armor appeared on his body, and the demon's phantom behind him was flooding out, and the blood of the devil in his body was boiling like never before. She must be stopped. The advent of forbidden art must be stopped. Is this the taste of forbidden art? The emperor below looked at the scene of the parade angel, and immediately couldn't help taking a breath. Father, what is a forbidden technique? Lin Yunshu asked in a low voice. That is the exclusive title of the Holy See, but the forbidden technique is a kind of rank, and it is also a symbol of identity and strength. Forbidden art is similar to the immortal art that is divided into the ranks above the holy rank of our great thousand worlds, but at the same level, the forbidden art is more powerful. The emperor said with a complicated look. Obviously he did not expect Macal to master it. Banned. Mastering the forbidden technique, performing the forbidden technique, and performing the forbidden technique alone are three concepts. For example, the demon of light at the time was a power that could independently cast forbidden techniques, similar to today's Macal, but could use some other tricks to cast forbidden techniques. But even so, once the forbidden technique comes, the thousands of miles of void wrapped by the enchantment of light will probably be razed to the ground in an instant. This is the power of forbidden art. Is there any other way? Lin Yunshu also sensed the taste of death from the emperor's ugly expression. There should be no more. Once the forbidden technique comes, I am afraid that this place will be completely transformed into a real purgatory, and all the human beings in the enchantment at this time will be destroyed. The emperor said silently at this time. Gather all the remaining generals and soldiers and the powerhouses above Douxian. This time, I'm afraid we can only rely on us. After the emperor finished speaking, the three disappeared together. In the sky, the aura around Macal is still condensing and evolving, vaguely direct, a touch of heart palpitations, permeating the entire light barrier, countless human hearts. Continuing from the previous episode 1856, the void that was originally clear sky turned bleak and cold, and the angelic power surrounding Macal, thanks to Xiao Yan's demonic power, could not break the slightest for a while, so Xiao Yan didn't waste any time, and stood proudly in the sky. Now, I'm afraid I have to try that trick. An even more terrifying madness filled Xiao Yan's heart. The devil, the most yin and the evil, is an unknown force that surpasses the cognition of the world. Sacred flames are extremely sacred, and they are the real treasures in the vast world. In the sea of fighting qi in the body, the amber-colored holy flame crystal slowly appeared on Xiao Yan's palm. Since the power of the devil entered the body and pulled him back from the brink of death, the power of holy flame in the body was directly pressed back into the sea of fighting qi by the power of the devil. Since you are so rude, come on. This time, I'll go back and send you on your way. Xiao Yan said coldly. The dark green demon power and the amber four holy flames merged with the new holy flames, and simultaneously emerged on Xiao Yan's hands. On one side, there is a sacred object that can burn all things to purify evil. It is an amber flame soul fire that is enough to rank in the top 15 of the holy flame list. And the dark green power on the other palm, extremely cold and evil, is the only existence in this world, the power of the newly born demon. The fusion of the divine flame and the power of evil demons, such a feat, I don't know what will evolve into something, but when Irmo's terrifying power that also surpassed the heavens and the earth appeared, Xiao Yan's heart suddenly became excited. And there was a vague sense of intuition telling Xiao Yan that what came out of this fusion might subvert his own cognition, and even be more powerful than the previous Buddha's wrath samsara. Of course, if he couldn't stand the torture in the middle of the fusion, if the power of the devil and the holy flame couldn't be merged at all, Xiao Yan was just asking for his own death. After all, Xiao Yan was gambling this time. Likewise, Macal is gambling. In this way, Xiao Yan slowly adjusted all his breaths, waiting for the two breaths to reach a certain balance, he would directly start to fuse them. And as Mikal evolved the pattern of forbidden arts, long chants emerged from his mouth, and they turned into countless high-pitched Sanskrit sounds, rendering the entire light barrier into a lifeless death zone. This battle will be the last battle, and it will be an unforgettable battle for everyone in the Tianxin continent. Beneath the rock and earth wall, a narrow underground shelter. Weak lights, thin air, and thousands of people crowded, but at this time it was unusually quiet. All the soldiers of the Imperial Guard and all the high-ranking members of the royal family. Lin Yunshu was standing on a rock at this time, and said indifferently, "The Emperor crawls quietly behind him." "Your Highness Queen, order it. There are absolutely no people in our star continent who are greedy for life and fear of death." The princess's voice just fell, and some noisy voices emerged from the crowd. Even under the rock and soil wall, with the help of the crystal ball, they also can clearly see everything that is happening outside. The sky demon Xiao Yan fought hard against the angels to protect this already riddled territory. The legendary demons are so heinous and disgusting, the angels are extremely holy and maintain the order of the world, but at this time, what hundreds of thousands of them have seen with their own eyes is only one person who is trying to use forbidden magic for his own selfish desires, trying to completely obliterate this scene. The angel of the territory, and a demon who is not willing to give up his struggle and violently give up his resistance even if he is scarred. Who is the devil and who is the angel? Among these guys, there is already a clear division. Every time they saw the devil and the angel fighting in the sky through the crystal ball, their hearts were shaken violently, and a trace of grief and tears dripped uncontrollably. The power of the demon Xiao Yan has surpassed the sky and the earth. If he wants to leave, he can just turn around and leave. But he didn't, because he was the Lord of Endless Fire Territory and a helper personally invited by Her Royal Highness the Princess. With all these, Xiao Yan's figure has become unattainable in their minds. Seeing the aura of the demon Xiao Yan's never say die, they also wanted to run out and fight the angel in a dignified manner. Even if it is shattered. Seeing the figure of the demon Xiao Yan standing still, something in their hearts was severely touched. In this territory, with their wives and children, they must stand at the forefront, and the existence of Xiao Yan is their last line of defense. The soldiers of the Forbidden Army, at this time, the angels are trying to use forbidden techniques to destroy the guy we depend on for survival. Lord Xiao Yan is our last line of defense. Pick up your weapon and kill the enemy with me, the princess said enthusiastically. Kill, kill, kill. The majestic aura filled this place with an unprecedented fervor. If you have wives and children, get out. Lin Yunshu was relieved when he saw this, and his tone calmed down slightly. Shabu shabu. I don't know why the princess said that, but among the crowd, hundreds of people still stood up voluntarily. Those who have children but no wives, get out. Lin Yunshu said lightly, and opened his mouth. Shabu. In the crowd, nearly half of the figures stepped forward one after another. They were very puzzled as to why the princess was like this at such a critical moment. If there are elderly people at home, come out. Lin Yun'er said, Wang buzzing. As Lin Yunshu's voice fell, only 1/10 of the old men stood quietly in place of the many soldiers and high-ranking guards. You, wait in place, the future of Tianxin continent is handed over to you. In this battle, there will be death and no life. Those who are willing to follow this princess will be listed as the founding heroes of the country after their death. Whoever is willing, kill the enemy with this princess. Defend our homeland together. The princess supported Jizan's palm contentedly, and the power of the stars on her forehead slowly diffused out and fell on the dozens of people who were unconcerned. With the spirit of death, he left the shelter and walked towards the sky. This time, I am afraid that there will be no life. His female horses. Let a class of female streamers lead the army to fight for our hope of survival for me. Can we men not be so useless? Sir Xiao Yan and the princess are so kind-hearted, and I am not a hard-hearted person. Fight the dirty angel. Defend our homeland to the death. During the speech, a vast voice formed a long wave, spreading in the refuge, and as the sound spread, hundreds of thousands of humans in the refuge, Small the weak woman who was unable to hold the chicken wrapped some newborn babies and left the shelter together, facing the outside world. Here is their guy. The angels are trying to destroy this place, and they will fight for it with everything they have, even if it is to destroy both body and soul. The momentum of an army of hundreds of thousands can be described as truly appalling. In the sky, on the palm of the demon Xiao Yan, there was a flash of dark green and amber light beads, which beat violently in Xiao Yan's center, only the size of a dragon's eye, but every beat would make the sky completely uneasy. The country is pious. At this moment, Macau's forbidden technique was quietly completed, and behind him a transparent and sacred building like a palace of death stood quietly. This thing, because of the vastness of time and the limited power, can barely be regarded as a semi-forbidden technique, but the power contained in it is truly suffocating. Crash! The most evil and holy strange bead was heavily projected by Xiao Yan. At that time, the sound of heaven and earth went silent, and the enchantment of light shook violently, as if it would be completely shattered at any moment. Demon, it's over. This is your judgment and the punishment from the angel. Btth2. Macau's cold holy voice spread out, and a huge building full of golden energy suddenly descended behind him. That feeling, like a child standing in front of a pillar of the sky, that oppression, that awe-inspiring aura, makes people truly feel a fear that comes from the soul. Since I obliterate me, get ready, I will tear off your angel's mask and see if the angel's soul is pure. Break me. When the strange beads touched the magnificent building, Xiao Yan's voice was extremely cold. And two forces that transcended the boundaries vented out, but this sky exploded uncontrollably. This battle has finally come to an end. The error-free chapters of Fighting the Sky God of Yan Emperor will continue to be updated on link2novel.com, and there will be no advertisements on the site. Please collect and share. If you like Yandy of the God of Fighting the Sky, please collect it. The Emperor of the God of Fighting the Sky is the fastest to update. Continuing from the previous episode 1857, the awe-inspiring and sacred Grand Palace, like a full moon falling from the sky into the mortal world, with an irresistible sacred atmosphere, turned into an unattainable divine mansion, even the entire space, countless mountains, trembling. It seems that once the Tianmu Palace falls into the mortal world, this territory will instantly turn into dust. The tens of thousands of splendid buildings behind Macau trembled slightly and fell to the ground little by little. What kind of brilliance was that? Can the power in a human really be so powerful that it is prohibitive? Big enough to mobilize all the energy between heaven and earth. Within this riddled barrier of light, countless mountains are buzzing, and the bright sun in the sky seems to have absorbed all nutrients. All the creatures in the barrier seem to be slowly exhausted at this time. The power has been completely deprived of Merkel. Give it to me. Hundreds of thousands of human beings who came out of the sanctuary watched the strange evil bead in the sky about to collide with the forbidden technique Heavenly Palace. There was a sourness in their noses, their pupils burst red, and a grudge appeared on their bodies. Whether the strength is Douxian or Douxian, they are all blasting away at the sky. For a time, the mighty force forms a majestic wave, with countless completely different forces, and they go away. Even if this power is insignificant, even if this power is vulnerable in Macau's eyes, for the homeland behind them, at this moment, no one backs down. Forbidden. Break me. Seeing the temple slowly descending on the sky, Xiao Yan's demon armor disintegrated instantly, the power of the demons on his body faded rapidly, and even Xiao Yan's vindictiveness, holy flame and soul power became wilted for a while. It seemed like a simple move just now, but the fusion of demon power and holy flame was a shocking move, no less than walking around the gate of death and returning by luck, and only Xiao Yan knew what the strange beads contained. Such power. Boom! After the blink of an eye, strange evil beads and forbidden buildings came quietly. Devil, fall! Seeing the forbidden spell coming, Macau was at a height below zero, the angel wings behind him kept stirring up, the entire barrier of light thundered, and the wind and clouds changed color, which was no different from the real hell. There is no vitality, even all the flowers, plants and trees show an extreme withered disease, darkening and turning into dark gray. Their power has been stolen by Macau, and all of them are injected into the forbidden building. The forbidden building is intricate, but the golden holy pattern contained on it is like the pattern of judgment carefully engraved by a real angel, imprisoning all evil in the world. Dong dong dong! The two just contacted, and the endless holy light descended. Those holy lights were mixed with countless sacred breaths. Every time they spread out from the sky and hit any mountain trees along the way, the latter would be instantly wiped out. Bloom! Watching the forbidden art building wrap up the evil beads in a force of suppression, it feels like the evil beads are imprisoned in a palace of death, completely blocked by countless sacred chains, unable to break free. But so what? The combination of the devil and the holy flame, wouldn't it have only so much power? Crash! Xiao Yan's voice fell, as if he had used up the last bit of his energy. On his arm, the demon blade flashed with unparalleled evil. Immediately, his body jumped, and with the help of his last strength, he shot at the angel. Go and try to kill the angel. Ended. The devil is after all. Peefed. Boom. There was a gloomy smile on the corner of Macau's mouth. Just as he was about to speak, he saw a strange bead, like a gorgeous firework, in the forbidden building in front of him. With a bang, it exploded completely. And with the explosion of this weird bead, the two powers of the amber holy flame and the dark green demon power are venting their emotions. The power of holy flame, the sacred breath of light, is no less than the power of angels. Adding the power of demons, at this moment, Macau's heart shrank involuntarily, his heart began to speed up, and a shock filled his heart. The forbidden technique has also drained all her strength, and the outcome of this battle will be completely decided at this time. Impossible. Destroy me. Looking at the dazzling brilliance of the evil beads that have been bound to the temple building, the dazzling brilliance continues to bloom and spread, and after a while, it has become so huge that the temple building can't resist. It seems that the next moment the temple of the forbidden technique was completely broken, and Macau began to panic. The angel wings behind him began to shake violently uncontrollably, and the holy angelic powers were injected with angel feathers. Mikar, you are unforgivable. Just use your life to pay homage to those innocent human beings who died in your hands. Xiao Yan's icy killing intent swept across the sky, his entire body tensed, and the only demon arrow on his arm was like a crossbow arrow that broke away from Gongzon. It blasted away. As for the semi-forbidden temple building above the sky, after only supporting it for a moment, because it could not bear the power of the evil beads, it was completely shattered, and a shred of radiant fragments fell from the sky powerlessly. And that enchantment of light was also completely defeated by the bead of evil. I'm an angel, you can't kill me. Otherwise the Holy Sea will never let you go. Ha ha ha. Devil, this time, I won. See you next time. Macau will definitely get back all the shame today. Seeing that Xiao Yan only had the power of the last blow, Macau suddenly went crazy, smile. Although he is now at the end of his force, but with Xiao Yan's current state, the demon arrows are enough to obliterate him, but he has no extra power to lock himself, and he can escape from here with the help of angel wings. After all, he still won today, but Macau also knows that this time he took it lightly. Not good. Xiao Yan's speed was extremely fast, but it was too late to chase after Macau, because he had to control the demon's arrows, and there was no extra power to reverse the direction. And once the angel runs away this time, I am afraid it will bring unimaginable disasters, whether it is for the endless fire territory or the Tianxing continent. Xingchen, holy prisoner, little fairy, the world of wood, the holy wall, Tianshui lock, quote. At this moment, in the void below, one after another roared and roared, which was enough to make one's blood boil, like a fierce beast that killed red-eyed beasts violently. The majestic power was like a tide, instantly locked on Macau. Wang Om! Seeing this, Xiao Yan, Lin Yunshu's body was surrounded by the power of stars, forming an unparalleled holy palace of stars, and a wooden holy wall composed of emperors, which directly imprisoned Macau, unable to move at all. Blessings from the stars. Xiao Yan, we can't kill the angel, please do it. Also ask Lord Xiao Yan to kill the real demon. In the dark crowd below, countless humans said in unison. Wang buzzing. The dazzling power of the stars fell off Lin Yunshu's body and slowly lingered around Xiao Yan, repairing the many scars on Xiao Yan's body, like a holy garment of stars, which enhanced Xiao Yan's breath. To the top, a body blessed with the power of an angel cannot be shaken by humans, but it is not for Xiao Yan. On Xiao Yan's body, the dark green demon arrows became bright, and the evil light on his body changed from dim to bright with the help of the star clothing. Go to *** and repent. With the blessing of the star clothing, Xiao Yan's strength was soaring, his body trembled suddenly, carrying a demon arrow, without any pause, directly pierced through the angel's body of the angel Macau. Even though she has angel wings, and even has angel power to protect her body, under her own demon arrows, she has already become no different from a piece of tissue paper. Boom, boom, boom. The demon arrow pierced Mikal completely. The bright red blood dripped from Mikal's body. Even now, she still couldn't believe that she would die in the hands of an unknown person. You are such a filthy soul. You are not worthy of your actions, and you will get the devil's food. Destroy it completely. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, the amber flame and soul fire rippling out, entwining a faint light in Mikal's body, and there was nothing left of the burning after breathing. Just use your blood to repair this space. After destroying Mikal's body and spirit, Xiao Yan wrapped the remaining blood in holy flame, and was assisted by his own holy flame, dripping like holy rain falling down. For a while, the void poured by the blood of angels gradually became quiet, and even the void full of holes was completely repaired by the blood of this extremely holy angel. After doing all this, the power in Xiao Yan disintegrated instantly, the power of the devil disappeared, and he fell from the sky like an ordinary person. This time, I finally succeeded. Not wanting to pay attention to these things, Xiao Yan's eyelids became heavy, and when he was in a coma, he finally muttered, and his voice suddenly disappeared. Little guy, you are the hero of our star continent. The emperor carefully caught Xiao Yan's figure and couldn't help saying, Lord Xiao Yan. Then the hundreds of thousands of mighty human beings roared from the bottom of their hearts. The voice was long and long, lingering in the sky for a long time. Obviously, the current Xiao Yan's status in their hearts has already surpassed that of the emperor and princess. The trip to the Tianxing continent also came to an end quietly at this time. The error-free chapters of Fighting the Sky God of Yan Emperor will continue to be updated on linkttonovel.com, and there will be no advertisements on the site. Please collect and share. If you like Yandy of the God of Fighting the Sky, please collect it. The Emperor of the God of Fighting the Sky is the fastest to update. Continuing from the previous episode 1858. Once the time has passed, it is a month. In a month, the star continent has also recovered its original face from the original panic and riddled with holes, but everyone understands that all this is the credit of the devil-like figure standing in the sky named Xiao Yan, and it continues. Its order. First, the emperor announced the many sins of the two princes, and wiped out the relevant personnel. But in the final analysis, this war lost 2 princes and a lot of high-level officials. Among them, 10 elders fell at the same time. It also caused immeasurable losses to the royal family of Tianxing continent. Fortunately, they won in the end. Then the emperor announced his abdication and held a mighty emperor ceremony for Princess Lin Yunshu. Princess Lin Yunshu also entered the ancestral hall after accepting the emperor, so she was sheltered and cared for by the ancestors of the royal family of the Lin family. Time pushed the boat to break through the 7 stars fighting immortals, and the power of the stars was completely awakened, so she was named the Empress of the Stars. The shocking scene that happened in the Barrier of Light a month ago has slowly subsided at this time, but Xiao Yan's figure resolutely stood among the many high-level officials and ordinary people in the Sky Star continent. In the exclusive mountain range of the Star Empress, the top-ranked Tianyuan Mountains are on the left and the Emperor's Palace on the right. Hey, how come Master Xiao Yan is gone? No, you must tell Her Majesty the Empress as soon as possible. At this time, in a large courtyard that was in a quiet corner on the edge of the mountain, a woman with a beautiful face came to the wooden house. After a careful sense, she left here and moved towards the Empress. Go. Since the catastrophe ended and Xiao Yan fell into a coma, this place has been sealed off as a forbidden area, and Xiao Yan was placed here for a good rest, but Xiao Yan was covered with demonic energy shackles. After passing out of a coma, it can only be placed on the bed and let it disintegrate on its own. As for the maid who just left, she is naturally an extremely rare sensory attribute in the royal family. She has always been responsible for taking care of Xiao Yan. If there is any change in Xiao Yan, she must inform many high-level officials as soon as possible. At this time, in the backyard of the courtyard, a rather thin figure stood here. Hey, I've been in a coma for too long. The power of the devil has invaded my limbs, and even the fire of holy flame can't be removed. The man sat on a rock and said helplessly, but at this time his body has returned to the skin color of an ordinary person, and his hair has returned to normal, looking like a simple man. Forget it. I'd better go into seclusion and check my body. I don't know whether my body is a blessing or a curse because of the power of the devil this time. I hope it's not too bad. Xiao Yan finished speaking, facing one of the courtyards. Go to a quiet room. It has to be said that Xiao Yan also admires Lin Yunshu's intelligence very much. The courtyard here seems to be a good place for cleaning and retreating. For Xiao Yan today, it is naturally very suitable. Hoo-hoo. When he reached the secret room, he carefully placed a barrier behind him, and immediately summoned the second realm. Acacia Flame Domain. Very good, there is no mutation in the Acacia Flame Domain. Then there is the Undead Flame Domain. What's going on? Xiao Yan's power had just penetrated into it, and he immediately smelled the ashes fluctuations in the domain, and even the domain characteristics that were enough to resist the blow of the 7-star fighting immortals completely disappeared at this time. I'm afraid that when the devil's power broke out, it was already used. Forget it. After some inspection, Xiao Yan shook his head. Then, the special light group of the flame beasts in the body, as well as the Holy Flame and the Holy Flame Crystal, checked one by one, and there was nothing wrong. The big stone in Xiao Yan's heart weakened a little. However, Xiao Yan was becoming more and more ignorant of the beasts of flames in his body, but relying on Xiao Yan's sense of smell, he vaguely felt that when the beasts of flames came out, they would probably reach an extremely terrifying level. And the power of the devil, Do Qi Do Core and Soul Realm. After a while, Xiao Yan slowly sat down and took a deep breath. These three are the most important, and at the same time, Xiao is least willing to face them. When the demonic power possessed the body before, his strength clearly soared to the early stage of the 8-star fighting immortals. He was covered in dark green skin and evil hair, and was extremely evil. This was the credit and characteristic of the demonic power, but it was also what Xiao Yan feared the most. Zuner has not been found yet, and the 100-year contract has not been fulfilled. The solution to the mystery of the Xiao clan requires extremely powerful strength, and at least it is reincarnation. But what Xiao Yan is worried about now is that because the power of the devil fuels his own power, he will be full of energy in the future. Soaring from the late 5-star fighting immortal stage to the early 8-star fighting immortal stage, this huge span, I am afraid that my strength will not be able to improve in the future. 6-star fighting immortals? In the middle stage of 6-star Douxian? Xiao Yan forcibly restrained other concerns, carefully running the burning Ju, and the firewood attribute Do core in his body started to operate at the same time. Isn't it 8-star fighting immortal? Not the 7 stars fighting immortals? That's fine, it's just from the late 5-star fighting immortal stage to the middle 6-star fighting immortal stage. Although there are a lot of sequelae, it is still within an acceptable range, and in terms of Xiao Yan's identity as a pharmacist, the rest are trivial matters. Finally, there is no danger. After struggling, Xiao Yan smiled, but Xiao Yan noticed that the power of the devil had been quietly accumulated in his body at this time. As long as his mind moved, I am afraid it would be the same. Can evaporate. But what is this? Just when Xiao Yan was overjoyed, a dark green stone fell directly from his body next to the 2 bucket cores in his body and landed on Xiao Yan's palm. Wing Om Om. After the breath, Xiao Yan held the dark green stone with an icy and evil aura, which revealed from it, causing Xiao Yan to shiver directly. This is the power of the devil? Xiao Yan asked in surprise. Wing Om. At this moment, Xiao Yan's body Fen Ju swam autonomously, protecting every inch of Xiao's mind, and the Emperor Yan ring also fell off directly, staring at the demon stone with vigilance, and even a touch of concealment in his body. The extremely deep dark green demon power exudes endless greed. This is similar to a Rubik's Cube? After some inspection, Xiao Yan found that the square shape of this thing was like a small Rubik's Cube. Although it contained endless evil and cold aura, it was extremely weak at this time. And it echoes with the demon breath in his body. This thing, I'm afraid it is the key to unlocking the devil? After a while, Xiao Yan also boldly guessed. When the demonization started before, every time a creature fell under the hands of his own demon, the soul power in the body would turn into a pure power to feed back to him, and the evil cube in front of him might have something to do with it. There is a lot of power in the devil's Rubik's Cube. If you want to start demonization in the future, I am afraid you need to collect a lot of power. Otherwise, the backlash will not be worth the gain. Xiao Yan smiled contentedly. This time, if not for the Emperor Yan ring and Fen Ju's protection, I am afraid that I will also be attacked by Fenju, but I am afraid that next time I will not have such good luck. Putting away the demon cube, Xiao Yan's mind became hot. Because of his strength, his soul realm seemed to have undergone extremely strange changes due to the influence of demon power. The error-free chapters of Fighting the Sky God of Yan Emperor will continue to be updated on linkedtonovel.com, and there will be no advertisements on the site. Please collect and share. If you like Yandi of the God of Fighting the Sky, please collect it. The Emperor of the God of Fighting the Sky is the fastest to update. Continuing from the previous episode 1859. Buzz. Xiao Yan didn't stop. The dazzling soul power in the body went towards the spiritual palace in the body. Btth. Following Xiao Yan's actions, the 9-layered spiritual palace in Xiao Yan's body shook violently. Immediately, an indescribable feeling of comfort swept through Xiao Yan's body, as if being washed by extremely pure water. Dirt in the body. 4th floor? After the restlessness calmed down, Xiao Yan calmed down, peeled off the layers of evil mist that shrouded the spiritual palace, and said in surprise. The 4th floor of the 9th floor spiritual palace. Not the 3rd floor. The casting of the spiritual palace was cast when the soul power broke through to the fairyland. From 1 to 9, the 1st layer of the spiritual palace was the weakest, and the 9th layer was the strongest. It can be said unceremoniously that from the time the spirit palace was cast, it has already symbolized the limit of the soul's power. There are very few people like Xiao Yan who can cast a 9-layer spirit palace. 9 layers of spiritual palaces, each layer represents a realm, and they correspond one by one. The 1st to 3rd floors correspond to the back of the fairyland, the early, middle and late stages of the Taishu level. The 4th to 6th floors correspond to the early, middle and late stages of Huayuan, and the 7th to 9th floors represent the power of the soul, the pinnacle of spiritual travel, small success, great success, and even the 3 realms of perfection. Throughout the ages, countless geniuses and heroes have emerged in the great world, but no one can step into the God realm that countless people dream of. The powerhouses of reincarnation are only Yuan. Now Xiao Yan's strength is only in the middle stage of 6-star fighting immortals, and his soul power has reached the early stage of Huayuan. This is a great surprise to Xiao Yan, because in addition to being able to perform special fighting skills such as the illusion and pupil technique, the soul power is also related to Xiao Yan himself. Alchemist. The pharmacist really fell too far. He opened his eyes contentedly, and Xiao Yan smiled bitterly. There was no way. I ran around all the way along the way, and various relics emerged one after another, which led to the fall of the refining technology. It seems that I have to find a time to make up for it. The soul power has stepped into the Huayuan. Today, I am afraid that I will not be too much in the face of 7 stars. If I become a demon, I am afraid that under the reincarnation, I will be invincible. It's just that this demon's power is too evil and cold, and in addition to killing Macau, I'm afraid it will be a revenge with the Holy See in the future. After getting the immortal flame, we should leave as soon as possible and go to the demon world first. Xiao Yan thought to himself. Analyze slowly. Today's Xiao Yan, the midterm strength of the 6-star fighting immortal, plus the physical strength after being improved by the power of the devil, is probably no less than the powerhouse of the 7-star fighting immortal. With all the means in his hand, he can also provoke the main force. But what surprised Xiao Yan was the swallowing technique. In the middle stage of his 6-star fighting immortal, he was using the swallowing flame technique, but he could no longer perform this technique perfectly. The skyrocketing power could not break through the 6-star fighting immortal. There is no way to repair the incomplete swallowing inflammation technique completely. As for the Devil's Cube, Xiao Yan wrapped dozens of layers inside and out with holy flames and placed it quietly beside the spirit palace. If he wanted to demonize it in the future, if he couldn't fill the Devil's Cube with energy, I am afraid that he will be met with extremely terrifying backlash, but Xiao Yan also has a limited understanding of how to fill the Rubik's Cube. In the outside world, Tianxing continent is still running slowly at its speed. Thousands of miles away, thousands of miles in the clouds. Archangel, the holy card of the roving angel Macau has just been completely broken, and there is no breath or power left. At this time, 2 shadows appeared in a closed secret room, and behind one of them a pair of white his wings were gently fanned, and he whispered. Mikar? Isn't she assigned to be in charge of the Order of the Douxian continent after being personally blessed by the Archangel? What's going on? Another woman heard the words, and a golden flame suddenly appeared on her delicate face, angry and yet elegant. Subordinates don't know, but a dimensional image was sent back before the fall. Do you need to report to the Queen of Angels? The female bodyguard said cautiously. 2 pairs of angel wings, 4-winged angel. In front of this beautiful woman, even in the kingdom of angels, her status is a high-level existence. No need, now the Archangel people are helping her Lady Queen to realize the divine light and pray for the resurrection soul to come. Just leave these little things to me. In the name of my angel team leader, I will give the Holy See of Douxian continent a splendid splendor and let them handle this matter cleanly. But the devil's breath has surpassed Makal, and that kind of breath has never appeared in our records. I suspect that it is the new king who has just been born among the aliens. Executing an order, quote. In the kingdom of angels, the white brilliance shone on every inch of the land, and it became quiet here. On the other side, Douxian continent, in the church. The church is the core of the Holy See in Douxian continent. The entire church is stacked on top of each other, with a height of several thousand meters. There is even a mysterious angel's eye on the top of the church. Enter the kingdom of angels. At this time, in a gorgeous and luxurious house near the top of the church, several figures frowned, and the red robes on their bodies showed their status, but the breath revealed invisibly was as unattainable as mountains. The most powerful and powerful people in the Holy See, the 3 red-clothed archbishops. Next to the 3 red-clothed archbishops, there are 3 others. All of them are young people, with a very strong light element around them, obviously not low in the Holy See. 1 woman and 2 men, they stand in the 3 red-clothed archbishops respectively. Around. Teacher. At this time, the woman in the field whispered. Lu Qing, tell me. The only old woman who was one of the 3 red-clothed archbishops looked at the woman beside her with beautiful eyes and said softly. Yep, seniors, the roving angel Makal was originally just a high-ranking member of our Holy See, but because of his mastery of space and light, he was personally blessed by the powerful angels in the kingdom of angels to obtain angel wings, and thus assigned to maintain the order of our duty continent. Now that Makal has completely fallen, his body and spirit are completely destroyed, and the kingdom of angels is furious. We have issued the highest order to find the murderer as soon as possible. Lu Qing also spoke softly, but there was an irresistible voice in his voice. Holy voice. Well, I've heard about this too. It's quite serious. Lu Hao, as the son of light of the Holy See, do you have the confidence to complete it? If you succeed in solving this matter, I will speak in person and ask His Majesty the Pope and the 2 priests to pray for you and build a road of reincarnation with angel wings. At this time, the last of the 3 red-clothed archbishops spoke. The disciple takes orders. The man known as the Son of Light couldn't help laughing when he heard this. Okay, then I'll leave this to you. Go back, the old woman said lazily, waving her hand. The other 2 red-clothed archbishops heard the words and went back with their disciples behind them. Teacher, Lu Hao is my younger brother. I know his character too well. If this matter is left to him, I'm afraid. After a while of silence in the house, Lu Qing still said. Let him go. Since Bishop Lacey names himself, then let him make his arrangements. It's time for you to inherit the power of an angel that belongs to you. The old woman smiled. Forget it. Leave it to my brother. After Lu Qing finished speaking, he also left here on his own. Although the Son of Light is talented, he is too rigid. He actually wants to use the power of the Holy See for the sake of the ancient women. In the future, the banner of the Holy See will fall on your head sooner or later, don't worry. After all, this is not something I can feel alone, but the will of an angel. The old woman's distant voice was like a Sanskrit sound, slowly spreading out, receding the countless black lights around her body, and a radiance as white as jade, slowly rippling. That kind of power is not only about reincarnation, but how heavy it is to step into reincarnation is still unknown. The error-free chapters of Fighting the Sky God of Yan Emperor will continue to be updated on link2novel.com, and there will be no advertisements on the site. Please collect and share. If you like Yandy of the God of Fighting the Sky, please collect it. The Emperor of the God of Fighting the Sky is the fastest to update.